Hello guys, my name is Maggie, aka Mag the Buffoonist.
Mag plays bassoon, Emma bassoon, Maggie already Zabal.
I don't care what you call me, but Maggie's just fine. I'm a high school all-state bassoonist that is an incoming junior. Like many others, I am anticipating the day, July 21st, which is when the TMEA 2025 to 2026 etudes will be revealed. But that's a month away. So in the meantime, we will be discussing a very known debate among bassoonists, at least in Texas, our two favorite etude books. The Julius Weissenborn 50 Studies and the Ludwig Milde 25 Concert Studies. I'm only looking at volume 1. These two books vary in different scale levels, and there's a very big gap between them. I will be discussing and giving my opinions on both books based on 4 categories. So number 1 is skill development. How can you improve while working on this book or the etudes? Number 2, the general mood of etudes. What does it give off? Like, does it give mysterious, angsty? Does it sound cool? 3, suitability for performance. Will this be easier or harder to audition with, especially when you're nervous and under pressure? It's everyone's favorite part. 4, would this be good to stick with for 6 to 7 months? I want to emphasize that this is my opinion.
That's my opinion!
I'm not a professional. This video is very subjective, and whether you agree or disagree with me, good for you. We accept most different opinions, heavy on most. Just be respectful in the comments, and yeah. At the very end, I will reveal which book I prefer and why. So, let's talk books. The Weissenborn. I have mine right here. The camera's inverted. I'm probably gonna there we go. You see, but now it makes me look weird. But anyways, this is the Weissenborn. I've heard from a few people that they refer to it as the Bassoon Bible, which I can see because not only does the book include etudes, but also little duets, fundamentals, scale studies, etc. I found my Weissenborn etude in my bassoon case during 8th grade. No one's name was on it, so finders keepers. Now, let's look into how this book does within the 4 categories. This book is very good for developing multiple skills, not just one. And as you can see in some of these pages, I know you can't like read the text visibly, but like it literally goes in depth and explains what to do for each exercise. There's even a section dedicated to major and minor scales. I ran into it somewhere.
I don't know if I can find it, but it's literally around the...
There we go, I found it. Like scale, it says scale exercises. It's inverted again. I don't know why it's like that. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, it is very beneficial to learn, especially when preparing for the TMEA etudes. It even goes through the anatomical structure parts of the bassoon. You know, I'll just put the pictures on the screen. I'm too lazy to flip to it. The skills you then learn from the previous pages or when you're first starting out, it then transfers into the 50 etudes. And they are actually very connected, both lyrically and technically. If you're like most people who skip through the informational pages and go straight to the etudes, the skill you would develop the most out of this would probably be like phrasing and musical expression. There's not much super challenging technique throughout the general area of the etudes. Like, yeah, there's some where it's like, oh, this is a little weird, but it's not most of it. So it's mostly just like working on your musical expression and how you can do it. I would rate this category a 10 out of 10 because there's so much you can get out of this book. The Weissenborn got bonus points for that. Overall, these etudes are very straightforward, especially the first 20 or something. I say you can knock out most of them within a week, 2 weeks if you practice efficiently. These etudes are a mix of both major and minor keys, so you can get the best of both worlds. Personally, not a lot of them grab my attention that much. I don't react like,
Oh my god, this sounds so cool!
a few of them make exceptions, but not all. I would rate this category like a 4 out of 10. Because, you know, it does stuff, but it's not like crazy grabbing attention. I'm 100% sure your nerves won't affect these etudes as much compared to more technical ones. Milde. My freshman year, we had the Weissenborn etudes 22, 23, and 41. I make a lot of marks on my etudes. It's kind of bad. It makes me look like I'm crazy, but Guys, I'm not crazy.
I'm not crazy.
So here you go. You see some little like marks and highlighted stuff. This is my tag right here. So cute. Yeah, that's one of the etudes. My least favorite one. I'm telling you, at least in my region room, most people could get through those etudes. There were no train wrecks or hyperventilating or any,
Oh my god.
you know, most of them went through it like a breeze. It may have been different in your room depending on your region, but it was a major difference compared to my sophomore year's audition, and I'll get to that in a second. To sum it up, the etudes are easier to knock out and audition with. I would rate this a 7 out of 10. No. That is my short answer. As I said, these etudes are mostly easy to knock out. For most bassoonists, at least in Texas, would be able to get the notes, like every single note, and at a decent tempo by September or October if they practice sufficiently. I'm speaking from personal experience. Freshman year, I was already bored and burnt out from the etudes a few weeks before the audition. Literally the beginning of November, I didn't want to play them anymore. So I'll rate this a 2 out of 10. So my conclusion on the Weissenborn is that all in all, this is a very good book whenever it comes to learning the bassoon fundamentals or with musicality and tonal expressions. Julius Weissenborn has really good exercises that you should work on. My biggest con with this etude book is that it's a little too easy for high schoolers. I know I just upset a lot of bassoonists saying that. I'm sorry, but not sorry. The aspect of practicing an etude consecutively is that it has to be challenging to some extent. Most of Weissenborn isn't at that level. And is it a bad book? No, absolutely not. The Weissenborn is very good when it comes to explaining how to do things, but just keep in mind, you're gonna be stuck with these etudes for a good 6 months. About 7 if you end up advancing the area. So maybe that's something to keep in mind. Milde! It's inverted. This is a very controversial book in the bassoon world, especially among high school. The Milde is known for how technically demanding the etudes are. Even the lyrical ones have its own major challenges. The cover's ripped off. I fear it's a canon event. Yeah, you can see like my sad little region stickers from this year. One of them's yellow. Because when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's piss colored. But it's okay, it's cute. As you see, it goes straight to the bold title page. And then when you flip it, you literally just see the first etude and you're like, what the heck is this? Oh, you see, look at all my markings that I made this year. I'm not crazy, guys. I'm not crazy. It looks scary, especially if this is the first time you've opened the book at all. Now that you've kind of seen a gist of it, let's rate it through the categories and then we'll see how it goes. 100%, the most you will get out of these etudes will be improvement on technical skill. Unlike the Weissenborn, it doesn't explain anything, it just goes straight into the etudes. It's like throwing a boulder right at you and you're expected to catch it, but like you can't catch it because it's a boulder and you're gonna get hurt. And just flipping through the etude book, almost every page, every single page is 16 note runs. But if you look deeper and actually analyze some of the etudes, these are just varied scales and arpeggios compressed onto 1 to 2 pages. So if you practice both your major and minor scales consecutively beforehand, it'll be easier for you to go through the etude. So I'll rate this a 6 out of 10. 95% of these etudes are in minor keys. It gives the technical etudes a bold and demanding tone, like very punchy, while the lyrical etudes sound sad and mellow. Personally, I am more into music that sounds very angsty or sad or moody, or any composer that sounds like they had a very rough day. I'll rate this a 9 out of 10. As I said before, these etudes are heavily technical and demanding. The bassoon is the second hardest woodwind instrument to play, right under the oboe. From my experience, the audition room had a vast difference compared to when the etudes were Weissenborn or when the etudes were Milde. Let's say for Milde, I was in that audition room for at least 3 hours. Keep in mind there was only 22 of us in that room. In high school, auditioning with the Milde etudes and being nervous is a very dangerous combination. I kid you not. Like most performances, you are most likely to mess up technical passages than lyrical ones when you're nervous. So you'd really have to know how to get your nerves under control. Maybe chuck down bananas if you have to. This gets a 4 out of 10. Is this good to stick with for 6 to 7 months? Yes, there is so much more you can go through and you'll be less likely to be burnt out by the time auditions come through. Unless you really grind those etudes, then okay. Personally, it was more tolerable to stick with the Milde for several months rather than the Weissenborn. My thoughts on the Milde is that this is a very mean book to give, especially to high schoolers. This is the type of book they give to college students for assignments. My private lesson teacher told me he had to learn one etude a week for his professor. Obviously, for college bassoonists, that's not so bad, but the majority of high school bassoonists in Texas aren't even close to that level. For those who prefer technical over lyrical, yeah, sure, this could be a fun book to work on, but for most cases, not really. Which etude book is better? That depends on you. There is no right or wrong answer. Me personally, I really like the Milde much more. I don't know if that was obvious, but that's my preferred choice if I had to choose between the books. Others may prefer the Weissenborn for different reasons that I didn't list. That is completely fine. Every bassoon player is different, and that's okay. I tried my best to be fair with these takes. If you have a response or you think I left something out, comment below. I'll read everything and try to reply. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be back with a reaction video to the etudes that will be chosen.
Look, ignore my permit. Yeah, this is my region patches. This is from middle school. I don't really care about these. And this is area, region orchestra. And then the rest of the patches are on my Letterman. It's really expensive to get all the patches put on. So I just chose the state patches. So this is on the back. And this is, I put the state patch under my name. I'm planning to put the rest of the state patches, if I make it again, like on the torso area. I might leave the sleeves alone. I don't know. It depends. But it costed like $38 to get the 2 patches attached. So I don't know.